Hello, I'm probably riding my bike. Suji Huang and I are going on an adventure. It's Monday morning and I've got the day off work, so I might as well take advantage of that and take a day's solo trip out into the countryside. The main reason I bought this bike really, and I've got the perfect place in mind, a place I've been to a few times with some different bikes. I think this will be the best one for it. Just packing a few essentials for the day, some tools, some food, and the most essential, some coffee. I've got my setup pretty dialed on this bike, with the 2 lightweight bags and no racks. Perfect for carrying a day or two's supplies. Let's go. I love riding around in Seoul in my daily life. Sometimes you just need to get out though. The change of scenery outside of the city is always nice for a mental reset. I'd love to go and do a multi-day tour, but at the moment I don't have time for that. So I'll take what I can get and go on this day trip. It's pretty easy to leave the house, ride for a little bit, get on a train, and you're in the countryside in less than an hour or two. Quick jaunt down to Oksu Station, my favourite station for obvious reasons. It's right next to the Han River bike path. Just cruise off the path straight into the elevator and you're there. To get the ITX train out to Chuncheon, and I'll be getting off at Gapyeong. I've done this exact trip a few times and I actually made a video about it last year. Going new places is always fun, but sometimes you just want to go somewhere you know is good. The ITX tail. 9 AM train means being here the same time as the rush hour, where people are stopping off to get some kimbap, tteokbokki and odeng for breakfast. Just some takeout kimbap for me. The mad rush kind of dissipated almost instantly. I guess most people just started work at 9 AM on the dot. And I'm feeling grateful to have the day off and heading on an adventure on Monday morning instead. It's amazing to have this infrastructure to be able to take my bike on the train. But the reality is this is the only train in Korea where you're actually allowed to bring your bike on. I wish there were more, but I'll make do with the bus for other intercity or inter-countryside adventures. Each ITX train from Seoul to Chuncheon has 8 bike spaces available. You can book online, but only on the Korean app or website. So if you're not Korean, get someone to help you. During the week, it's easy enough to do a last-minute booking, but on the weekend they get booked well ahead. So make sure you book early if you want to go out for an adventure out on the east side of Seoul. Train travel is my favourite way to get around, and it's even better when you can bring your bike on the train. This is a short journey, less than an hour. So just enjoy my kimbap, listen to some music, and I was there before I knew it. Even though it's Monday morning, I'm still surprised no other bikes were on this train. It's easy enough just to roll off onto the platform and then carry your bike down the stairs. They actually have a ramp on the side of the stairs to wheel your bike down, but I find it too narrow for my chunky tyres. Straight out of Gapyeong station and straight on the adventure. Gapyeong is the home of the Jarasum Jazz Festival. That was the first time I visited it back in 2009. Back then it was a tiny little countryside train station where you had to walk across the tracks to get out of it. The highlight of the jazz festival was seeing Stanley Jordan with his kind of tapping guitar technique. It was super cool. This part of this trip is my favourite. Coming down the hill with the view of the mountains, and you know you're ready for an adventure. It's always the part where I have the biggest smile on my face. As I was saying before, I've been on this trip a few times, exactly the same route. And it's always nice to go somewhere new, but it's just as fun to go somewhere you know is good. And it's not even the same every time anyway. The weather might be slightly different, there might be some changes. Every adventure is slightly different, even if you're going the same route. Seoul had been getting quite green with the arrival of spring, but out here it was still grey and barren, but still beautiful. The weather was getting much warmer, and you could see the buds forming on the trees too. I found the perfect place to put my ultra lightweight down onto the handlebars. It was even warm enough to roll up the sleeves of my new calico, probably riding, flat white shirt. It's so good to feel the warmth of the sun on my skin again. What felt like a big climb the first time I came here disappeared in a flash this time. Maybe my fitness is much better. We're onto the gravel roads. I did consider riding in my Crocs today, and in hindsight, I probably should have. Overly optimistic riding through that. My shoes are a little bit wet already. But no worries, we're on the gravel path. The kind of roads my bike, Susie Huang, are made for. I even made a new local friend. I'm not sure if he's local though, maybe from outer space. Cool dude. I've been to this place quite a few times, with and without bikes. It's my third time with a bike. First time I went with my Rivendell Clem, and then again with my Atlantis, and now with my Susie. All of them were very capable, but with the rocky path and big chunks of stone, the Susie was definitely the most capable. This is the kind of route I had in mind when I was building this bike. If I was wearing my Crocs I would have just ridden across again, but not risking it this time. I love that less than an hour and a half away from my house I can find this kind of peace and solitude. I think I saw about 2 people on the whole journey from the train station out to here. I was considering inviting some friends out for this ride, but I opted to go solo. And I was happy with my choice. I think I'll bring some friends along next time though. Every time I come here it's a little bit different. They even started building some hiking infrastructure with a new name and a new map and even a new Tongta. This will be a nice place to rest in the heat of the summer. I hope it's a public one anyway. It will be the perfect place to make a coffee outside. But it's not finished yet, so I'll carry on and find another spot for coffee. I think this spot will do. First some lunch and then some coffee. And a bit of a fit check as well. Dripping in probably riding merch. My lightweight hitch probably riding cap, which I've been selling a few of the last few weeks, and thank you to all those who ordered them. The same goes with the calico shirt. Some more will come later on, in the summer. No chair today, I packed lightweight. I've got my hitch, coffee and bicycle bandana. I love finding a spot like this with the sound of the water, completely to myself. But I also feel like I've got some good company preparing this video for you guys to watch. It adds a nice other level to my adventure. And there's signs of life too, with these frog eggs floating around. I've got to take my shoes off to dry them, and my socks. They dried pretty quickly in the sun, luckily. I'm excited for my wholesome lunch. And my favourite Opinel knife, which I picked up in France. It's the perfect little knife for adventures, with a cool picture of bikes on it. Korea's had some really bad forest fires recently, so I brought some food that didn't need any cooking. Some simple sourdough from Tartine, some cheese, tomato, and chili jam. A very white person lunch, but absolutely glorious. And of course, some butter as well. I forgot to bring some from home, so I had to carry this whole stick around with me. To be honest, just bread and butter would be enough for me with this good quality sourdough. Simple pleasures. Glorious, simple lunch with the soundtrack of the water running past. Now it's time to tidy up and make some coffee outside. Again, I don't want to make any fire because there's been huge forest fires in Korea recently. One of them even bigger than the ones in LA, just luckily further away from most towns and cities. So today, instead of my gas stove, I've got my out-in espresso maker, which heats up the water itself. And before I was using my old grinder, which really struggled to make fine enough for espresso. So I've been enjoying making coffee with this one, the X Ultra from 1Z Presso. I chose this grinder because it's capable of grinding fine enough for espresso, but also coarse enough for good pour over as well. Some people ask why I don't just bring a flask of coffee. But the whole part of the fun and adventure is making it outside and having a fresh cup. Incredibly satisfying. Especially with my new grinder, which grinds so much faster than my old one. I've got the larger attachment to make double espressos on the out-in. It takes about 18 grams of coffee. And it comes with all the little accessories to disperse your coffee and tamp it as well. Usually when I use this, I put the hot water and it can go straight through, but this time I brought some colder water and heated it up. Took a couple of minutes to heat up to the right temperature, and I got a bit distracted, so I forgot to film the rest of the coffee making. But I enjoyed a lovely double espresso to cut through the cheese and bread and butter. Nice little pick-me-up. And I went and carried on my bike, past this pointless sign, which I think would be nicer if it wasn't there, and some of the mountain azaleas, and a couple more friends. This rocky path just keeps going up and up and up, and if you've seen my other video from this location, you know what's at the end. It's quite a treat. A couple of dwellings on the way up. I didn't see anyone there this time. And we're almost at the main event. A bit of a hiker bike and a few more ups and downs. We're on our way to the waterfall. And for the last stretch to Surak Waterfall, I'll lock my bike to this sign and do a bit of hiking. The forest is unbelievably dry. You can see why the fires spread so quickly out here in the countryside. Kind of scary. I think soon there'll be some much needed rain to bring some life to this place. But I'll follow the sound of the life. The sounds of the waterfall. Which again I had all to myself. Glorious. I actually made another coffee up here, but I was enjoying the surroundings so much I didn't film it. It's only a few hours since I left my apartment in Seoul, but it feels like a world away. There were even a few small signs of spring too. Can't stay all day though. I can't leave Susie Huang alone for too long. We need to go for a bike ride together again. Even though we're in the middle of nowhere, I'm still conscious of leaving my bike locked up with a $2 lock. And with my pasty Irish skin, I've got to make sure I put my sun cream on. Spring is here and I don't want to get sunburnt already. And with all that climbing, I was rewarded with a lovely little descent. Now on the way back, I thought I'd try a new part of the ride. I always noticed these signs for the MTB course before, but I was always in more of a rush and didn't really know where they led. But today I had a bit more time, so I thought I'd try it out, and it didn't disappoint. They've actually incorporated this as part of the hiking trail, so there were more maps around, and I actually knew where the path led this time. It was a classic Korean style trail with plenty of steep climbing, but plenty of steep descents too. Some wildlife and pheasants, and some big views. Even some beehives. This time was just a day trip, but I think next time it'd be cool to do a sub 24-hour overnighter and find a spot around here to do some wild camping. Plenty of stopping for photos and snacks and some mirror selfies. It was so peaceful out here, I was savouring every moment and enjoying the komorebi. From here, it was basically downhill the whole way down into the city. Fucking awesome. Before I knew it, I was back on the main road. Sometimes when you're climbing all day, you don't realise how high you've got until you're descending. It seems like an endless descent. Makes all that climbing worthwhile. And it's the reason why I enjoy riding up hills. I think a lot of people think it's mad and crazy enjoying riding up hills. But I think if you do it often enough, you definitely realise why it's so fun. Back down into Gapyeong town, which even has some segregated bike lanes. And it was time where school had just finished and everyone was heading home after class. I'm already heading on my way back to the train station. I arrived about 10 in the morning and my train's at 4:30. So I had a good few hours of adventuring. Plenty of riding with enough time to have some lunch and make a couple of coffees. A perfect day out. Sometimes I love longer days in the saddle, but I feel like 4 or 5 hours of riding is plenty in a day. Quick snack before the train, and I was on my way back to Seoul. I keep saying I just love how easy it is to get this train out and go out riding in the middle of nowhere, through past waterfalls and steep descents, just in a day trip. Our lives are so busy, but we can still find time, even just for a few hours, to go on an adventure. Whether you're taking your bike on the train or putting it in the back of your car, it's good to get out for a day trip now and again. Who's coming with me next time? We can get 8 bikes on one train. We can have a crew and make some coffee outside by the stream. You just need a bike with wide enough tyres to handle those chunky gravel roads. Less than an hour, already back in Seoul, where everything's beginning to get green. Seoul is at its best in April, May, when it starts to come to life again, with the plants and trees and the people out again on the streets. I've been doing this channel for over a year now, so this is the second time I've shown you the transition from winter to spring and to summer. But I'm happy to show you again, because every year is a little bit different and I'm still finding new things all the time. I hope you've enjoyed my little adventure out to Gapyeong in the mountains. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. See you later.